Hello, I'm Jeremy Levanger.
And I'm Nathan Odie. Welcome to Strazine, your source for authentic, curated content for digital and social media professionals.
On today's show, we will talk about social media platforms and the demographics of each, why some apps like TikTok appeal to younger generations, while apps like Facebook have an older audience.
In our tips and tools segment, we'll see research done about the different age groups that use social media platforms.
First, on to our question of the day. What apps do each demographic prefer? We will also learn what their least favorite apps are.
Let's see how different media may fit some people more than others. With the multitude of apps out there, Jeremy Levanger interviewed some of his peers to learn what apps they use.
Welcome to the Person on the Street segment. My name is Jeremy Levanger, and I'm heading to class right now. And after that, I'm planning to interview a few people about what social media they use. What's your name?
My name is Isia Kaffer.
Samantha. My name is Ruth. My name is Camille Kolnitz.
What social media do you use the most?
TikTok.
TikTok.
No.
Probably TikTok.
LinkedIn. Going to
LinkedIn?
be honest. Yeah.
Wow. So why do you use it so much?
Because it's inspiring, and I know knowing connections in the future is more important to me. And if I were to go on Instagram or something like that, I'm just going to be on there for hours, and I feel really bad about myself when I do that. But if I scroll for hours on LinkedIn, I feel better because I feel like I'm being educated.
Well, because TikTok makes me laugh. They post a lot of videos that just keeps you laughing, and I guess it's a type of social media that they use most back home, and I love being kept updated about what's happening back home in Africa. So,
well, TikTok, I just really like the story times that people post there, and I also want to be a TikTok influencer for the money and also for the fame. I want to be famous.
I see. What kind of people use TikTok?
What kind of people? Honestly, I feel like every kind of people use this TikTok. Like, based on my community and based on what I've seen, there's also like adults, there's high schoolers, there's college students, there's also people who have businesses there on TikTok, there's also influencers. So basically, a little bit of everything.
Why?
Because it's funny, it's entertaining. I also look for inspiration, like hair videos, or clothes videos, or even just I use it as a search engine sometimes, just when I look up stuff that I want to learn more about.
Which social media do you use the least?
I'd say WhatsApp. So WhatsApp, I don't know if that's a brand or an app that's pushed in the US very well, but in my country, WhatsApp is a big app. But as soon as I moved to the US, I stopped using it. I only use it to talk to my family precisely, but that's about it. Also Twitter, just like the other people said. Yeah, just because I used to use Twitter at some point when I was into NFT, non-fungible tokens. But now I don't use it anymore. So.
What type of people do you feel like use TikTok?
young people, like new Gen Zs, like students, both, I would say, to the range of probably 12 years to 30, I would say, or 35.
What kind of people do you feel like use TikTok?
Probably young people, like high school students or college students.
So lots of professionals, I guess, where they're trying to help other people also become professionals. I think that's the content that I really enjoy and like.
Which social media do you use the least?
Messenger.
Why?
Well, because nowadays people have just shifted out of Messenger. Now they're using so much of Instagram, so Messenger is not fun anymore. Well, so I just lost interest.
App anymore, so I don't really use it.
Twitter. I don't think I have an account for that. So, or X now. So that's my least used one because I don't even have it.
We learned a lot today. We learned that college-age students have TikTok as their most used app, as well as others like LinkedIn, with Twitter or X being their least used app. Of course, as we look at older age groups, we'll see apps like Facebook becoming more and more popular. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to everyone who took part in the interviews, and I hope you all have a good day. The demographics for social media platforms are always changing. A critical part of reaching your intended audience is to know what platforms they are using.
We had someone research the most popular social media platforms for different age groups and for different content.
Now that we know a bit more about the demographics of different social media platforms, let's take a deeper dive into how we can put this information to work for us in content marketing.
Recently, one of our reporters, Faith Mescal, spoke with Brandon Isle, a professor of journalism and the radio service supervisor at BYU Idaho, to gather his insights on our topic for today.
Hello and welcome to the interview segment of the podcast. My name is Faith Mescal, and today I'm joined by
Brandon Isle.
In this segment, I'll be speaking with Brandon about how to identify the right social media platform for consuming or creating content. What do you think are the main differences between audience behavior across different social media platforms?
Audiences will use different social media for different reasons. Like Facebook I think you're really good at finding longer form posts and lots of pictures. I know a lot of my family members will just dump pictures on there, and it's kind of where they just keep their pictures. And so if you want to see that archive, it's a good place to go. Whereas Instagram, you're sending and seeing memes and quick updates with people, and you can have up to 3-minute videos now. TikTok, right? It's all about the quickness and different things. So you're having these different experiences on all these platforms just so you can entertain yourself in different ways or catch up with friends or other people you're following.
Yeah, thank you so much. Next question is, how can someone figure out what platform suits their goals or needs best?
If you've never used social media, I don't know where you've been, but I think as new social media continues to roll out, just giving it a try to see if you like it, engage with it in different ways. For example, Instagram put out their threads. I know a lot of people jumped on initially and maybe not so more right after, but they're testing the waters to see if that's something they like. If you don't like it, you don't have to use it. You just delete it. But if you do like it, then it's a good way to keep just engaging with different audiences. I know Substack is getting really big, and people are finding that's kind of the new place to blog or do a lot of other things. So yeah, engage with it multiple times and see if you like it.
Yeah. Have you ever had to pivot or move from one platform to another in your career, just because it was better for you, and why?
Yeah. So in my professional work, there was no such thing as social media when I started. So as it started to become a thing, we had to adapt it or adopt it and adapt the way we used it. When Facebook started becoming a thing, I first got onto the platform after a mass shooting at Virginia Tech University. And that was the way we found we could contact people. And so initially when I started using it, it was a way to find people and contact them. But then it evolved into something that I use personally and just use it different ways. And then, of course, Instagram came along and Twitter and all these other things. So I started using those as well and engage with them in different ways. But yeah, there's always again, adopting and then adapting the use as they roll out new features and do different things with them.
Yeah, thank you so much. Next question would be, what are some common mistakes people make when they post the same content across all platforms without changing each platform? Should they be adapting it more?
It depends on what your goals are. For the average person who's just putting something on a platform and kind of ticking the box saying, yep, that can go on this other platform too, I think you're totally fine doing that. I post on Instagram and Facebook at the same time, and I have people looking at it in different ways, and I think that totally works. But for creators, I think you need to post different things, different places, because people do engage with your content in different ways.
Yeah, thank you. Last question is, do you think it's more important to go in on one or two platforms, or should people just spread out across as many platforms as they can?
Again, it's all about your goals. If you have found that your people are on one specific platform, yeah, totally stay on that platform and go all in. They may never find you on True Social, right? So don't worry about that one. But maybe that's your platform, so you go all in on that one. We found for our audience at the radio station that people engage with us on multiple platforms in different ways. So we typically create something for Instagram first and then try to adapt it for these other social media apps.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. And now we will return to our hosts.
Our tip and tool for this week is directly related to our topic of discussion. I took on the task of researching age groups of different social media platforms.
Hey everyone, welcome to Strazine Tips and Tools segment. Today we're answering a big question. Which social media platform does each age group actually use the most? Understanding platform demographics can make or break your content strategy. Let's take a look at what recent data says. If you're targeting Gen Z, say 13 to 24-year-olds, TikTok is your go-to. Nearly 70% of them are active users, and it's where trends are born. Instagram still holds strong for millennials, especially for those around the age of 25 to 34. Now, Reels and Stories work especially well for this crowd. Meanwhile, Facebook remains dominant among the 35 to 49 group and those over 50. It's the best platform if you're promoting community events, long-form discussions, or local services. And don't forget LinkedIn. If you're targeting professionals, especially between ages 30 and 49, perfect for B2B content and career-focused messaging. Here's a quick cheat sheet you can screenshot. Match your content type with the platform your audience uses the most. That's it for today's Strazing segment. Knowing your audience's platform is key.
Back to our question of the day. With all the opinions and each social media site having unique features, which sites appeal to who?
According to the Pew Research Center, YouTube and Facebook are the most used online sites in America and likely to be used by anybody. When it comes to the younger US adults, the likelihood of using Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok increases. They also found that women are more likely to use Instagram and TikTok.
Every app has their audience. That's all for this episode of Stratagene. Coming up in our next episode, the topic will be search engine optimization. Is it still relevant?
Thanks for joining us today on Stratagene.
You can find links and attributions to everything from today's podcast in the credits and show notes.